I have struggled a lot the last years with my photography and filmmaking. And also, welcome to this channel. If you haven't seen me before, my name is Stian. I am a Norwegian photographer and filmmaker based in Oslo. 2024 was a rough year when it comes to passion. Don't get me wrong, like 2024 was actually really good when it comes to work. First year that I could do this full time without having a second job. I think this video is going to be called Don't Make Photography Your Career. And Stian, what are you saying? You should pursue photography, make money out of it at all costs. And with some people, I would strongly disagree. Because what's happening when you pursue this as your career is that you lose some of the passion, or you could potentially lose all the passion. It was really, really hard to actually pick up the camera and think that I'm gonna make something cool right now. It felt like work. Every single camera I picked up felt like work at some point. And I was starting to think that I should just do this as a hobby. After doing this professionally for so many years, and I think it's because you start photography or filmmaking because you want to, because you're actually interested in this craft. And then people start to tell you you should pursue this as a career. Like you're actually good at this. This should be your job. And you're like, yeah, that makes sense. And then suddenly you're the professional photographer in town and you have clients now. It's no longer you that decides what to make and how it's gonna look like. You might have creative freedom on your projects, but often you have not. The thing is, I don't want to push anyone. When somebody asks me, should I pursue this as my job? Then I often tell them yes and maybe no. It depends what you want. I've come to realize that creativity is something you have to work on. It does not come by itself. That's why I'm doing this. YouTube is my creative outlet right now. I used to do portraits and now they don't feel the same anymore. And I think I found out why. When you take a look at these images, you can see that I have mastered the creative lighting. You see a model and she's staring into the lens. And that is pretty much everything I see about my pictures nowadays. Just a model staring into the lens, and there's no story to it. And that is what I'm trying to figure out right now. There's also been so many YouTubers quitting in the last years, and to this day quitting right now. For example, Mari Hapoya, he quit his YouTube channel for a year and then he came back now actually. But at that time, a lot of YouTubers actually quit at the same time. It was a really weird period because it seems like all these YouTubers with a big channel and a large audience just had enough. Like, it wasn't fun anymore. But it's interesting to see that maybe this also will become just a job one day. So what I would like to say to some of you guys watching this video is that maybe your job should be your job, and then photography and filmmaking should be your ultimate hobby. But I think where an artist and a creative would thrive is from actually doing the more creative work, like selling prints and stuff like that, having full creative freedom on a project. That's where a creative thrives. And that's the whole realm that I want to head over to right now. I want to post more of my work and what I like doing so that I actually get more jobs in that field. Now, I'm talking from a point of view where I don't have that many jobs with creative freedom, and I'm not selling my work as prints or anything. And I think if I would have been in that place, my story would be different. So this is why I think it's so important to just keep posting what you love, and hopefully and eventually that will become what you're actually making money of. If you're at where I've been for the last year, I have some tips for you. At least some tips that I feel work for me. Create with others. When you create with others, you get refreshed and ready to go for another round of creativity. That's at least how I work. And every time I'm hitting up friends, hanging out with them, making something cool, that's where I get my fuel from. And for me, this goes like a curve, up and down all the time. Sometimes I'm really creative and sometimes I'm not. And that's okay. You cannot be at the top all the time. I remember I went to the Sony Cando event last year and meeting people, like-minded people that also do YouTube and like do the same thing as you, and gave me that extra spark to actually push forward. It made me realize that this is not something that you should do alone. You should do it together with other people. Everyone went from that event, biggest smile on their faces, and it's a reassuring feeling that other people struggle with the same thing as you and are going through the same things as you as well. And you might get new ideas that you didn't even think about. Another tip I would say is do something that you've never done before. I get stuck in a loop sometimes where, another portrait shoot, well, I should just do the same thing that I've always done and get the picture. And you will see that that becomes a loop, like I said. So try something new. Every time that I get a new piece of gear or something, I'm always excited, like meeting up with a new model or trying a whole nother lighting setup. Try a photography style that you haven't tried before, even though you think that that is something you would never shoot. Try to shoot animals if you haven't done that. Don't shoot animals, photograph them. So this year I'm gonna try to team up with more people, try different shooting styles, shoot something that I've never shot before, get out of my comfort zone. So I will reignite my passion. I will at least try. That was my little talk. If you want to pursue this as your job, your career, remember, do not do this alone. It is way more fun to do it with other people, and make sure to stay with your true craft. You should always remember to thrive as well as a creative and not burn out, because that will happen eventually if you don't take care of your creative passion as well. That's all I had today.